Hello everyone, I'm Anthropomantic Fiend, and I do horror-related things on the internet. But today I am going to be doing another one of my favorite songs of the month videos, which does tend to lean into macabre music, but isn't necessarily horror-related, but you probably know that already. Probably also already know that this is where I list all of my favorite songs that I listened to in the past month. They do not have to be songs that came out last month, they just have to be things that I listened to for the first time and really enjoyed and want to share with you. I will be linking a YouTube playlist of these songs, a Spotify playlist with most of these songs in it, although there was one that just was not on there. And I will also be linking my personal favorite songs Spotify playlist, which has over 1,000 songs on it for you to listen to if you are looking for new music to enjoy. Without further ado, here are my favorite songs of April 2021. First off, we have the live version of All Night to Find You by Fablecry. I have talked about Fablecry in almost all of these favorite songs videos since I started. Near the beginning of this year, a few months ago, they started premiering live videos and short clips that covered all of Fool Me Once. These are live clips from the virtual version of Festival of Ghouls, which is usually their biggest show of the year. It was really hard for me to pick just one. I did actually cover the live version of Who's Got Who from this in my previous favorite songs of the month. This is one of the most blatantly vampire-y songs on the album, which is probably why I picked it here. I almost picked the album version of this back in January, but I ended up going with the song 6 Feet instead. But this song is very much the character of Archie just becoming just full on vengeful, angry vampire and massing his legion of vampire followers. The song references Dracula in a really, really blatant way with the line, "Listen to them, night's children, what sweet music they make." But the backing vocals during the verse are singing the German for the Dead Travel Fast, which is a reference to an earlier piece of literature that's made in the original Dracula. So it's this really nice little deep cut reference to something that is referenced in Dracula that just fits perfectly in the song. And I actually didn't notice that the first few times I listened to the album until I saw those German lyrics in the lyric video for the song, and I just flipped out. This is not the studio version of the song, so it is not quite as polished, but you do get to see the band really getting into the song and being really, really energetic, which makes it full of life or undeath, if you will, in its own fun way, and their performance is still just top-notch. Next up, we have 3 different versions of the same song, because why not? The song being A Little Piece of Heaven by Avenged Sevenfold, and I have to blame Trenchy, the Soulless Trenchcoat, for this one, because after I discovered the Melodica Bros Violet Orlandi cover of Blue in my previous favorite songs video, and showed that to him, he was like, "Oh, Violet Orlandi did this cover of A Little Piece of Heaven with Anthony Vincent in the style of Phantom of the Opera." And I was like, what? And I had heard A Little Piece of Heaven before, but not in a really long time, so this is kind of cheating. But I did revisit it, and it's such a messed up song, but there's this kind of twisted beauty to it in a way. It really feels like an Edgar Allan Poe story taken a step further into even darker territory and turned into a metal song. It's not one that I think I would ever be comfortable with singing myself, but it is really good storytelling, really good song. The music video for the original is good, but the dark humor in it is just a little much for me. But then I listened to Anthony Vincent's 10-second songs version, A Little Piece of Heaven, which is in 10 different styles. My 2 favorites being both Phantom of the Opera and Jack and Sally from The Nightmare Before Christmas, both of which feature Violet Orlandi, and actually both of them switch from doing impersonations of Jack and Sally in The Nightmare Before Christmas and Eric and Christine in Phantom of the Opera mid-phrase, and it's really cool. Phantom of the Opera ended up winning favorite style in terms of the different styles they covered. So they did a full cover of that song in the style of Phantom of the Opera, which is what Trinchy sent me, and it is kind of mind-blowing how they managed to translate it so effectively into that format. There are little moments that are kind of funny, but there are also moments that kind of gave me goosebumps. Next up we have Dark All Day by Gunship, both the original version and the remix by Power Glove. Not the metal band Power Glove, although that would also be really cool. I actually have already talked about Dark All Day by Gunship in my Castle Freak 2020 review because the song is featured in that movie and is probably my favorite thing about that movie. It is very synthy, clearly meant to evoke the 80s, and it has this really sleek, punchy feel to everything that's nice. The lyrics are heavily referencing the Lost Boys primarily, and the song actually features Tim Capello, who is probably best known as the shirtless sax man from the Lost Boys, and the video references a bunch of vampire media, predominantly the Lost Boys, but also Blade and Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and even a little nod to From Dusk Till Dawn. It is a fun mishmash of horror and vampire pop culture, and it is very gory and twisted and fun. And this one was kind of cheating, but I hadn't listened to the remix by Power Glove until this month, so I was like, this is my excuse to put both versions on the list. The Power Glove version is significantly more stripped back. It's definitely still got the synthy, punchy, sleek 80s ambiance to everything, but it is definitely a little bit more restrained in some ways. All the different musical phrases are kind of put in different places. They kind of make you wait for certain lines and make you wait until the very end of the song for any of Tim Capello's sax parts, which I'm not sure if I like that or not, but it's kind of cool. But it is just a much more stripped back, haunting version of the song, if you will. People who like the original or are interested in either version, it'll be fun to compare the two. Next up we have Lindsey Stirling and Jason Richardson with The Arena. I doubt that Lindsey Stirling needs any introduction, but Jason Richardson is a phenomenal shred guitarist. He's also in a band. What band that is, I'm forgetting, but I'll put that down here. But the point is, he's a really good guitarist, and a while back he did a cover of The Arena by Lindsey Stirling, and by covering it, I mean he took the original track and put a guitar part over it, harmonizing with and playing off her violin part, and it's really amazing, just shreddy guitar work, but still super melodic and really catchy and really impressive. Lindsey Stirling ended up inviting him to be part of her birthday party, which I think she streamed somewhere at some point, and the two of them played The Arena together live, which is really, really impressive and really fun to watch. I just kind of randomly stumbled upon this one last month. I was just bored, and sometimes when I'm bored, I just click on shred guitar videos on YouTube because they make me happy, and this ended up coming up somehow, and I just couldn't stop listening to it. Next up we have Lilith Be Gone by Blackbriar, and Blackbriar are a symphonic melodic metal band with definite gothic overtones to all of their lyrics and subject matter. There's a lot of references to fairy tales and dark fantasy tropes and mythology, and this song is from the perspective of Lilith and kind of talking about how she is perceived by most of the world as a monster, but also she kind of loves that people are so feared by her, and it's simultaneously building up Lilith as the stuff of nightmares and this terrifying creature to be feared, but also kind of a feminist icon, and I love that. Blackbriar's songwriting is also just really, really catchy, and it kind of checks all of the boxes as far as melodic symphonic metal goes. Next up we have Chop Suey as covered by Halocene, and there was a Halocene cover in my last favorite songs video, but I ended up finding another one that was excellent. And Chop Suey is of course originally by System of a Down. It's actually been on this list before in the form of a cover by Necrogoblicon, but this cover features both Lauren Babick, who was in the popular monster cover that I talked about in the last video, and Violet Orlandi, who I've already talked about multiple times. It doesn't deviate in any really crazy ways from the original format of the song. I'm not sure I like it better than the original, but it's really, really good, and it's really cool to hear all three phenomenal singers playing off of each other and harmonizing with each other. Next we have Black Butterfly by Herr Knox featuring Lindsay Schoolcraft. Herr Knox's music I have not listened to outside of this one song, but I definitely want to listen to more of it because it's definitely heavily influenced by goth culture, both in terms of the sound and the music, as well as the fashion in terms of the music video. But there's also definitely a harder rock edge to everything. I don't really know how to dive into this in terms of lyrics or anything, but it's very catchy. It's got this darkly romantic tone to everything. The video is gorgeous looking. It's this montage of creepy images. Again, I'm not sure what it's supposed to convey, but it just looks cool. Lindsay Schoolcraft I have talked about to no end on this segment on my channel, and she just has an amazing voice, and I love the verse that she contributes to the song. Herr Knox has just a little over 200 subscribers on YouTube. I have more subscribers than this guy, and he's out there professionally creating music and making these amazing videos with amazing production values. So please just go subscribe to him. He deserves your support. And finally, we have Temptation by Eminence. And Eminence is kind of a metalcore band. They kind of check all the boxes that one would expect from kind of the heavier end of metalcore, lots of breakdowny moments, but also very catchy verses, lots of chugging guitar, but also a lot of melody. The interesting element that is included in this is violin, played by the lead singer no less. So he is screaming and singing and playing violin, sometimes simultaneously, which is insane. I love violin in the context of metal, but usually it's something like a folk metal band like Helveti, or it's something like Neobliviscaris, where it's this proggy, open-ended, ethereal-sounding, weird death metal thing that I love. But in this case, it is in-your-face, short-to-the-point metalcore, but with violin, and it sounds amazing. And the music video for this one is also really cool. It's got a really kind of twisted, surreal concept and this kind of medieval dark fantasy feel that I really enjoyed. Those are my favorite songs of April 2021. Once again, I will be linking the YouTube playlist, the Spotify playlist, and my personal favorite songs playlist in the description of this video. Thank you for watching my video, and hopefully I will see you in another one. Bye. Are you feeling